Hello, this is Joy News Desk. I'm Amisi Nyamiche Thompson. Coming up this hour. Virologist at Noguchi warns there are more positive cases of COVID-19 in parts of the country as he makes a strong case for the forceful reintroduction of preventive measures. We'll engage Professor Kofi Bonney here on our desk. Do stay. Now, OT Regional Security Council on high alert to avert further escalation of renewed clashes that have left 2 students dead and forced a shutdown of Nkwanta Senior High School. These are more coming up on our desk this morning. Don't go away. Be right back. Head of Virology at the Noguchi Memorial Institute for Medical Research is warning that COVID-19 may be creeping back faster than we think. Professor Kofi Bonney says the confirmed cases go far beyond what's being reported. His warning comes days after the University of Ghana raised concerns about confirmed cases in its vicinity. Now, Professor Bonney joins us for more on this worrying situation. We're grateful for your time, Prof.
Thanks for the opportunity.
You say that some cases are being reported from other regions aside what's been happening or happening at the University of Ghana's campus and its environs. What do we know as far as the other regions are concerned? Which regions in particular?
Right. So we at this institute, that is Noguchi, we have a center here called the National Influenza Center, which is a WHO designated center for respiratory viruses that causes infection, and it ranges from influenza to all other respiratory viruses that we have, including the COVID. And as we have to note, COVID is more or less now living with us, so it's more or less like endemic. So the setup here more or less tests for every respiratory illness that may come from any of the facilities that we call the sentinel sites. So they are doing some active surveillance activities. Anybody who reports with influenza-like illness, and that is your temperature has gone up, you have cough or sore throat, they will take your specimen. Usually they will take a throat swab and will try to find out what you may be having in terms of pathogens, and especially viral pathogens. So this has been going on for some time now, more than 15 years. So it was more or less after the COVID, the height of the COVID, that is 2022, we more or less incorporated, we added this COVID to it.
Right.
At first, we were doing influenza. So we have been monitoring since then. And we have been having sporadic cases across the country where we are having these sites. So from February, we had a little spike, not too much. We'll have influenza cases, then we'll have some COVID cases. Then way down, somewhere in May, we started getting cases from other regions. Eastern region, we have some few cases there. Greater Accra, some parts outside university districts, the district that university is fine, is situated. We have some cases coming in from the Volta region, Ashanti region. So we have had cases from all these regions. But you see, what broke the camel's back was 2 weeks ago, where we had an overwhelming number of cases from the university community. That is what maybe gave reason to the circular that the university sent around, that then the university should be, the university community should be aware of what is happening so that they will take the needed precautions. So yes, it is not a localized resurgence, I would say. We'll be having these cases, and it is expected because we are in the rainy season. And during this time, we are expecting to have a lot of these respiratory infections coming up, especially the influenza-like illnesses.
Right. Prof, I'll come back to you shortly so we talk about the strain and all that. We have on the line with us Rosina, Professor Rosina Chemantin. She's Dean of Student Affairs at the University of Ghana. And we first heard of the cases currently in the country from the university. Let's ask her what the current situation is at the University of Ghana. Prof, if you can hear me, what can you report about the current situation of COVID in the university and its environs, if you know?
Well, we are waiting to have a briefing. Good morning, sorry. Good morning.
Good morning.
And we are waiting to have a briefing from the University Health Services. So we have a meeting with them tomorrow, and then they will give us the updated numbers. Then we know what measures to take.
But before you put a ban on social gatherings, with the exception of maybe lectures, what was the information you had? How many cases, at least, did you hear about before taking such a measure?
Well, we know that the numbers were increasing gradually. So there was a resurgence, and so we needed to take measures to contain the numbers.
So these numbers, were they domestically, developed, or they came from outside the country, you'd say?
Well, one cannot tell.
Okay.
One cannot tell because we have, the university community is big. We have people coming from outside, people within, people going outside and coming back in, so you cannot tell.
All right. All right. Let me go back to Prof. Professor Bonney, coming to you, how different is this variant from the one we already know?
Before this subsided, that is 2 years or 3 years ago, was the Omicron. And it's the same Omicron that we are having, but slightly a different subvariant that is being monitored. Being monitored means that it is not of concern now. We are looking at how is doing in terms of its severity when it comes to diseases that it causes. So now it is milder. It is not as severe as we should be more or less being careful of. But what it's about this Omicron is that it is highly transmissible. That means it can spread very fast.
Right.
But when it comes to disease severity, it's quite mild for now. Yeah.
Would you say the numbers that we are recording, it's serious? I mean, you've talked about the Ashanti Volta regions. We also know now the University of Ghana, parts of Greater Accra region. What will you make of the confirmed, at least, cases that have come across your table? Would you say it's alarming?
So far, not so many numbers, not overwhelming numbers. What came out of the university not too long ago was a little bit, it was a spike. We had a sharp rise in the number of cases. But what we are seeing in the other regions are not astronomically high numbers that we should be so afraid of or should start thinking about. But what is important here is that because of the season that we are in, and we are dealing with a virus that is highly transmissible, it may spread and a lot of people can get it. The good thing about it is that it doesn't cause severe disease. But we are talking about in a community where we will have vulnerable groups, and that is where we should be afraid of. Yes, we are talking about not causing severe disease, but spreading very fast and getting a wider scope of people, within a short time. But when we have vulnerable groups within the society, then we should be very careful because it may not be so severe on the very, let's say, immune competent persons or younger ones. But what about those who are vulnerable in the society?
Well, the vaccines we took then, are they still applicable with this strain? You didn't say there was much difference, but there's a new strain developing which you're also monitoring. Do you say that we still stick to the old vaccines that we're taking?
You know, anytime we are having resurgence, that means it gets driven by slightly different strains. So that means we may have immunity waning in there. Even before we more or less went down last 2 years, we were taking boosters. You take the vaccine, and after some time, you have to go for boosters. And also, we have to note here that the vaccines that we were given, I mean, the one that we termed COVID vaccines, were given on the basis that it is not for virus elimination or inactivation. It was to prevent severe disease, and that was very clearly made. The vaccines we took was to prevent severe disease. So if we are having new strains coming in place and we are getting it spreading, then it calls for the time for us to take vaccines or boosters. And so we cannot say that the vaccines that we took were has more or less not relevant, but we always have to mind or take into consideration that we have what we call the our immunity can wane with the vaccines that we took some time back. So certainly we will need to get boosters with new this new the resurgence that we are having currently.
Right. Professor Chairman, just before I let you off, because you have to go lecture, but how are students reacting or responding to the measures you've put in place so far?
Obviously, many of them will not be happy. You know, young ones don't want to be restrained. And so some are protesting, some are saying that what we are saying is not true. But we are putting measures in place for social distancing, wearing of face masks, using hand sanitizers, washing of hands. And so we hope to contain the spread of the disease.
Right, right. Grateful for your time here on our desk. We are so grateful for making time for us. And that's Professor Rosina Tremanting, the Dean of Student Affairs at the University of Ghana. But we still have with us Professor Bonney, who will also have to go shortly. But Prof, just before you go, you were very, stringent on the fact that we need to go back to the protocols. How are you liaising with government to ensure this is done? Because really, you say we need to be alert. There are quite new cases coming up.
I mean, the government has been very proactive in the last few weeks. They visited the university and came even to Noguchi to look at what was going on when that circular went out. So I know that they are putting in place. They are more or less activating the systems that they have for risk communication. And very soon, I believe that the government will come up with measures where we have to go back to observe some of the protocols that we were so much careful of during the height of the pandemic. So I know in no time we'll hear from the government. We work in tandem with them. So all the cases that are coming up from the institution goes directly to them through an electronic system. So they know what is happening. They are monitoring. And I believe that very soon they will come up with the necessary measures and interventions that they want to put in place.
Well,
Thank
Prof,
you.
just before you go, I just want to understand how these cases are going up. Is it within our domestic settings, or this is coming, is being imported?
No, these are coming from what we call the sentinel sites. So we have health facilities across the country where people who feel unwell, especially with respiratory infections, go there. And when they get in, the health staff will more or less examine. So if they meet the criteria, that is fever, cough, or sore throat, they will pick the clinical specimen for us to more the test. So it's those who are seeking healthcare that we are getting this information from. So if you look at the population, what about those who are not even going to the hospital in the first place? So that is why we are saying that it's going up, especially with the rainy season also in place.
All right. Professor Joseph Kofi Bonney is head of virology at Noguchi Memorial Institute for Medical Research and giving us updates on the COVID-19 in the country. Well, moving on, in the Oti region, the Security Council is assessing the situation in Nkwanta to determine whether basic schools should also be shut down following renewed communal violence in the area. This comes after 2 students were killed and 3 others injured in separate incidents, one shot while in class and another on her way to school. The Nkwanta Senior High School has already been closed as a precaution. 10 people have been arrested so far in connection with the violence, and we'll be joined shortly by the regional minister. But we have on the line Dr. Peter Anti, Executive Director for the Institute for Education Studies, and I think he's really concerned about the education of the students in the area. Dr. Anti, we're grateful for your time.
Thank you and good morning.
Good morning. You are quite concerned about education in violence-stricken areas, especially in Nkwanta. You've been proffering some solutions to this. What should government do?
It's unfortunate that we've not been able to put together a very comprehensive policy in terms of offering education to people who found themselves in areas, conflict zones, areas where there have been natural disasters and other things like that. We thought that the government would have learned from the challenges that our education system faced during the COVID period and would have developed a robust system that would kick in anytime there is an emergency situation in a community. As it stands now, we have closed the senior high school, but students are preparing to write WASI. They will write the same exams like their colleagues all over the country. This means that providing education in times of emergency is very, very important. By this time, if we had a very robust policy, we would have opened up that particular policy, and then we will see students being offered alternative routes to access quality education through online platforms, through other avenues that we have created to serve our students when they are in an emergency situation. We do not have something robust like that, and it's very unfortunate because the students are the ones who are going to suffer at the end of the day.
Exactly what will make up this robust, situation you're talking about?
Well, what we are thinking is that at least at this time, the Ministry of Education, alongside with now they have the Ministry of Education TV channel, then we have what we call the SENDLAWs, should be putting together certain online platforms available to students, especially the final year students in Nkwanta Senior High School, where they can quickly hook on to an online platform and their teachers will be able to still engage them during this period. This is what we are expecting the ministry to do as a matter of urgency. But this is not even only in Nkwanta, but we are discussing Nkwanta. Boko has been there since years, and students have hardly had any proper quality education. So it's a matter of putting together this system to serve anytime there is an emergency situation in the community, so that the learning of the child is not curtailed because of the conflicts or the emergency situation that the community is experiencing. So we are expecting government to roll out an online platform to quickly hook on teachers and students in Nkwanta Senior High School, so that especially the final year students, I will keep saying the final year students because they have less than a month to start their exams, so that they can still engage the students and prepare them for their exams, rather than just leaving them in the house and leaving them to their fate.
Well, such a situation is currently not in place, and the children, are also not in school. What then can they do, or even their parents in their own way, or even the Ghana Education Service in its own way, try to help these children? If they can't go to school, they don't have an online platform now. What else can they do?
Well, for parents, I think that they would have to encourage their wards to start personal studies. They would, of course, you cannot even step out in the community looking at the nature of the conflict. So they would have to encourage their students to step up their personal studies, get them relevant books for them. I know that Joy News, you have the Joy Learning platform, which is running. I think they can also hook them to those platforms. Unfortunately, you wouldn't know the content that is being presented there, because these are definitely final year students who will need a certain level of content. And that is why these things should be in place, so that as soon as there is a need to provide emergency, we just kick in the plan system, and the students are still able to continue the education. For the students, I think that they know that the stakes are high. They are preparing for WASI, which is a determinant to their future educational journey. So they should start studying, revising their notes, and then going online to find information where necessary. GES and the Ministry of Education would need to, as a matter of urgency, link up with other stakeholders to roll out an online platform, as I've already indicated, within the shortest possible time, and then let this information get across to all students within the Nkwanta vicinity, so that they will be able to continue their education. But I think that there's a little that we can do. I mean, as individuals, there's a little that we can do, but we should not also sit aloof and let these students suffer. I mean, let the education of these children suffer.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, these are interesting ideas that I believe government should consider. But you see, how about the security situation as well? These children can themselves also learn some form of security, measures, put themselves in a situation that will help them to be able to assess the situation and also keep alert. But thank you very much for your time on our desk, Peter Anti, and I think that we'll put this to the minister when we get him. I understand we have the minister on the line, Mr. John Kwadwo Japan. We're grateful for your time on our desk. What is the current situation in Nkwanta as we speak?
The current situation in Nkwanta is cool now. When you talk about Nkwanta town, I think there is some peace there. Everybody is going about his work normally. Then in other areas, for now, haven't heard bad news. So when it's about the current, I think the current situation is okay. There's no problem. We haven't taken anywhere. But yesterday was a bad day. Yesterday was bad, where reports about 4 deaths in Nkwanta municipality. One person died in Kiri, and then 3 people were killed tonight. Yes, in the evening.
Mr. Japan, I will need you to kindly position yourself well for me so that we have a stable line to you.
Yeah, I'm in my office.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Now, you were considering with your Regional Security Council to shut down basic schools. Has that decision been made yet?
Oh, yeah, we have made the schools are closed down in Nkwanta town and its environment. Yeah. Wherever these issues are happening, the schools have been shut down. And when you come to Nkwanta, other businesses are also closed down their work. All the banks that work in Nkwanta are closed down. The system are also closed down. And people are leaving the town, the municipality. Yeah.
Well, how serious then is, I mean, closing down schools, closing down, companies and workplaces indicates the severity of the situation. What really caused this renewed communal violence?
Yeah, it is a serious situation down here, and the best thing we can do is to close down the schools, especially when a student had to die through a stray bullet on Friday. We think that the best thing to do is to close down, and any other institution that that one close down should also do that until there's peace in the area. Initially, what happened was that somewhere last, he fight all ethnic groups in Nkwanta. There are 3 ethnic groups anyone. And any they celebrate this young class, there are issues that come up. People are killed and a lot of things are done in the area. So research agreed that this year there shouldn't be any festival in Nkwanta town. If you want your festival, please go to our Prahu and do your festival. If you want anything, but don't do it Nkwanta. And we found, peace in Nkwanta. They all agreed to that one. Everybody was happy about the decision. Only to, back on when a group of them on Ed decided to form ritual market. And they have some rituals, young brought the market, and when the rituals were going on, other Hebrew members asked that, we have gone to the regional minister to Mildred, and we have agreed that for the anything like in Nkwanta town this particular year until there's peace in the area, nobody should do all this. The gentleman just asked this question, and the group that went to do the ritual went back and mobilized themselves to come to attack these two guys. Unfortunately, when they came, the two guys had fled. They were not there, and they started shooting. So when they started shooting, police and soldiers had it, and they went there to see if they can bring some to the area.
Right.
While they were there, they were still shooting at the police and the military. So they also opened fire, and they had to retreat and run away into the bush. In the course of that, in the course of their shooting, 3 people, were hit with stray bullets. We lost one of them, and two of them have survived it in the hospital.
Right.
And that was on Thursday.
That's an unfortunate situation, but really, another issue that's coming up is these children are at home. What is the measures that have been put in place to at least help them continue learning whilst they are still at home?
Yeah, the best thing now to do is to see that every child is safe with the parents now. Because in the course of the day, nobody knew that a secondary school student who was writing his mock examination would be hit by a stray bullet. And that person died, and it aggravated the whole story again. Unfortunately, that was a Konkoma boy who was, shot and he died, by a stray bullet. And then the whole thing has been aggravated. It has gone up, the tension has built up, and a lot of things are happening in the Nkwanta municipality. So the best thing for us to do is to close down all schools so that we don't again get any unfortunate situation like what has happened. And that is it. I think that the best thing to do now is to save the students than to say that they should go to school because they have to learn.
Well, they are not in school. We understand that for security reasons, but is there going to be some form of online platform for them to at least keep up with their studies?
Unfortunately, maybe we have to ask the Minister of Education about that. There's nothing like that yet. There's nothing like that. We are now confronted with the situation that we have.
Okay.
And we have to calm down the people, and there should be peace in the area. Right. That is our agenda now.
Well, just before I let you off, you made some arrests too yesterday. What has become of those suspects?
Which one? Can I hear you?
Yes, I'm asking about the suspects you picked up yesterday in connection with the violence.
Yeah. We picked about 8 of them. We sent them to Accra, and they are working on it.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. We're grateful, Dr. John Kwadwo-Japong. He's the OT Regional Minister, giving us updates from OT. But we're also joined by security analyst, Dr. Victor Dockett. Doc, thank you for being on our desk this morning. With the Nkwanta situation,
good morning.
It's lingered for years. You know about this. What really should be done to quell this outright?
Well, thank you for the opportunity. Good morning once again. I think this clearly shows that there's a fundamental challenge with regards to resolution or addressing communal conflicts for that matter. How do you even implement mechanisms such as the early warning systems to identify that there's something in the offing for you to preempt and then deploy quickly as possible, or send emissaries for them to engage in, dialogue with the factions? It is very lacking, and it shows or is evident in most of all the conflicts that we're experiencing in the country. Now, going forward, we have a new crop of appointees in place. You talk about the Chief Justice Minister, Interior Minister, Defense Minister, and whatnot. It shows that there may be some new ideas with regards to how to address these issues, be it ethnic conflicts or communal conflict between two groups or whatever. So what we need to do is to engage holistically. Now, the stakeholders in the contact area need to identify that those who are supporting the factions are not doing any good. How about we identify them and involve them in a dialogue, and then also make them understand that their support to the factions is not helping the situation. Now you have schools closed, there are various, amenities closed down, which is not helping anybody. So I think we need to attack the situation head on, get the stakeholders together, and then address the issues once and for all. Implementation of the policies that have been there. Okay, it's as if the direct prevention measure, the curfews, are somewhat what we always would implement, which is not bad in itself. But then how do we ensure that we pick up the early warning signs early enough to be able to address the issue before it gets to this particular position? Now, when it comes to criminal issues, those who have been arrested, the law should deal with them. We wouldn't have a situation whereby they are in custody, investigations are ongoing, and then the traditional authorities come to seek leniency or whatever. That shouldn't happen this time. Now, if we are able to prosecute those who are found guilty, then it sends a signal to those other youths involved in a situation that the law will take up with you when you flout. And as the curfew is being imposed now, there should be dialogue behind the scenes so that the factions, all stakeholders can now iron out. We need an approach that would address the situation once and for all. And who knows, this approach can be implemented elsewhere in other conflict situations to address it.
Thank you so much, Dr. Victor Doke, security analyst, who joined us on the Nkwanta situation. Well, now let's talk about Joy Sports Invitational Tournament. And Nathaniel Atto is here with me with all the gist about this. Nat, so the tournament is back. What are we to expect?
Well, first of all, I would need you to be part of our women's penalty shootout team. We need to get you off that seat.
Well,
you look lovely, by the way.
Thank you. I'm going to score all the goals that I can.
Yeah, very important. Are you left-footed or right-footed?
Right-footed, of course.
Okay, great. So this is the number one or the most preferred corporate sports event. We've done this over the years, and we took a little hiatus, during the COVID year, and came back last year. Now, last year, ahead of the general elections as well, we thought that we should put the event together and add our voices to the many who are clamoring for having a peaceful, smooth election. And by the grace of God, it all went through. In terms of the event proper, we came back with a big bang. I know you observed what happened there at the University of Ghana Stadium, which has now become our hallmark venue. And so there's a lot in terms of, demand for this because of the kind of variety that we've offered, for all of the fans. Now, what we see on our screen here is the trademark CEO's penalty shootout, which is, substantive CEOs of various institutions who are taking part, having 5 penalties to shoot into that miniature goalpost.
But that goalpost is too small.
Very well.
Why?
One of the big surprises we had on the day was the CEO of DSTV, Mr. Alex Ochre.
Yeah.
He missed one by a whisker, and he would have drawn with the eventual winner, Mr. Divine Tay.
I see.
You know, he is in the tech space.
Now, why is their goalpost so small?
Well, that is the whole idea. You know, so it doesn't become so easy and so smooth. You know, and then also we just saw, you know, a sprint, one of the sprints. Now, one of the key, you know, events that people always look out for is the, you know, the unisex relay.
Yeah.
You know, the unisex relay is very, very on demand, you know, at the event. So we've got quite a number of disciplines. We've increased the number.
What will you be doing there that day?
Well.
I want to see you do the penalty shootouts into that miniature goalpost. I want to see whether it will enter.
Well, I'll do an exhibition if you want. So what we'll be doing is that we'll be, you know, we've opened up registration.
Okay.
And so it's all over on our various socials. Various institutions who are our clients who we do business with over the years would want everybody to come over at the University of Ghana Stadium so that we have this amazing experience of, you know, getting out of our offices and also having intense competition within a very, very friendly environment, and also pushing the idea of healthy living and also regular exercise and playing a sport so that we can balance, you know, work and...
When are you going to do hockey?
Well,
that's what I did in senior high school.
Okay, so you can convert the use of your hands to maybe basketball so that you can do the shoot competition as well. What
that
about
won't be bad. That won't be bad.
That won't be bad.
I can do some hoops there.
Yeah. And of course, there'll be swimming, there'll be lawn tennis, and of course, there will be the brief, you know, long distance walk. Okay. And all of these are part of the disciplines that we'll be seeing on the day. As we speak, NPA, the National Petroleum Authority, are the defending champions by virtue of the number of trophies, the number of gold trophies, or the number of first trophies that they picked up on the day. So the challenge to all the institutions who are taking part this year is build up as many first places as possible, and you get the bragging rights for the next year.
Any other surprises? I mean...
Well, that's the reason why it's a surprise. That's why they are surprises.
What will be the... No, but if I should score the goal, I should get something. That one day, you have to give me something. Because I can't come and use this my beautiful legs to hit the goal into the post and I won't get anything. So
you can imagine what all the ladies go through. The reigning Women's Footballer of the Year at the Ghana Football Awards. You know what they go through, right? Yeah. So in terms of registration, there's one phone number which is 0540 106466. 0540 106466. Just call or drop by the front desk of Joy 99.7 FM and get registration done. And we start looking forward to August 9 at the University of Ghana Stadium. Thank you so much, Nathaniel Alto, for that update. I'll definitely be there. You should too. This is Joy News Desk. We'll take a break. We'll return with more.
Hi, welcome to Business. My name is Darryl Kwao. Chief of Staff Julius Deborah has reaffirmed the government's strong commitment to building an investor-driven economy. Addressing the 2025 Ghana-China Business Summit in Accra, he emphasized the need for strategic collaboration between businesses to drive sustainable growth and development.
Way here, I learned from one of the exhibitors that already some of the Chinese participants has been there to take their details, because I think they are into cocoa products and honey and things like that, considering the possibility of importing this product from Ghana. That makes it a win-win situation for both countries. Ghana will benefit from this. China will also benefit from this. We shouldn't make this a talk shop. We should try and move and progress so that a year from now we can have concrete things to show that this has been a successful story and worth visiting Ghana.
Now, there are heightened calls for the private sector and the government to take a critical look at investing heavily in Ghana's local seed production. Now, stakeholders in the agricultural sector, particularly scientists, observe a lasting gap in the adoption and upscaling of diverse locally developed seeds. Despite the release of some early seeds by research institutions, the large-scale production of these certified local seeds has seen low interest from the private sector, with imminent threats to food security. Emmanuel Bright Kweku was at the Maiden Researchers Investors Summit in Agriculture held in Kumasi and filed this report.
Ghana has made significant strides in local seed production, varying from cereals and leguminous crops to root tubers. Research institutions like the Crops Research Institute of the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research continue to lead the charge in producing improved indigenous seeds for farmer adoption. Speaking at the Maiden Researchers Investors Summit in Agriculture, Director of the Crops Research Institute, Professor Maxo Dakwa-Asante, emphasized the urgent need for investment and transformation of Ghana's seed production sector.
So, the current situation for the legumes and the cereals is okay. At least we are able to produce the breeder seed and the foundation seed. The bottleneck again is the certified seed part. The same problem. We don't get proper business people, and people should forgive me. We get people who are just interested in government policy. We need people with deep pockets to take it as a big industry. It's a huge industry around the world, but particularly for vegetable seed, that one we are far behind. But now we are beginning to get varieties, and producing vegetable seed is a lot of work. So the same call, we need people with money.
The 2025 Researchers and Investors Summit assembled industry experts, academic professionals and journalists in Ghana's agriculture sector to dialogue on building resilience in the sector. The event was held on the theme, Bridging Innovation and Investment Gap for a Resilient Agriculture in Ghana. Director of the Agri-Eye Consult, Richmond Frimpong, highlighted the critical need to build synergy between research and industry as he advocated for tax holidays for industries in the agriculture value chain.
Through the summit, we aim to 1. Bridge the innovation to impart divide by translating research into real-world agribusiness solutions. 2. Stimulate local and international investment in agricultural innovations. 3. Empower young scientists and early-stage innovators to become tomorrow's agribusiness leaders. To this end, I entreat the government of Ghana to grant tax holidays to locally manufacturing firms within the agriculture value chain.
CEO of Legacy Crop Improvement Center, Dr. Amos Rutherford Azinu, impressed on the paradigm shift from smallholder to large-scale farming to boost productivity.
Agriculture has a potential to feed not only the entire continent,
All right, and that's it for business. Handing you to Mamisi.
Thank you, Daryl, for that business update. Well, coming back to the studio, I have with me Mr. Bennett Nkrumah. And you know what happened over the weekend? The 2025 Impact Makers Awards that went down. And we had a U.S. Army veteran who returned to fight poverty through education, named overall winner at the Impact Makers Awards, and he is in the person of Raymond Senyo Amezado. But in studio with me, I have Mr. Nkrumah Bennett. Also joining me shortly will be Mr. Buta. They are also in the fields of social, doing orphanages and then also health as well. Thank you for joining us in studio, Mr. Bennett. How are you feeling this morning? I mean, after the whole, ceremony and all that, how does it feel? Monday morning, going through that interesting weekend.
Yeah, it has been. Thank you very much. It has been a dream come true, and I think it started from even the auditorium.
Right.
It has Saturday night, or after the phone calls, the messages, and it's a heartwarming, and really appreciate it, and we thank Joy News for such a platform and such opportunity and throwing light onto what we were doing. And like I said, when I got my award, I was saying I thought I was just doing something small at my one corner, but little did I know that we'll be getting where we are to the end. It's a joy. It's joy.
You feel elated. I mean, for the many people who do not know what he does, he takes care of orphans, right? And currently, how many people are in your care? Between which ages?
Okay. Currently, I have 137.
Wow.
Yes, and from 2 years to 14 years. And out of the 137 children that are in my care, 65 of them stay at the home.
Well, Mr. Nkrumah, I'll let you go into those details shortly, but we'll come back to you. Let's take excerpts of what happened on that Saturday.
And inspiration, where stories of selflessness took center stage and ordinary individuals were honored for their extraordinary impact. The 2025 Joy News Impact Makers Awards lit up the night with shared hope for a better Ghana. Raymond Senyor Amejato emerged as the overall winner, drawing tears, applause, and admiration from an audience that had just witnessed the power of one man's commitment to community transformation.
It feels good, sometimes we don't need a validation, but we need a platform to project our work. So it feels good to be awarded the best impact maker in Ghana. It's a huge success. Thank you.
Do you have any initiatives in the pipeline?
Yeah, I mean, actually, the Fafali girls team has been selected to represent Ghana and the whole of West Africa in the next upcoming Street Child World Cup in Mexico. That's next year. We'll be going there. Also, some of our community members will be going to the festival 26 in Boston, America, and we have other projects coming up.
Can you name some of the projects coming up?
Well, if you come to our in Volta region, we just opened a library in the Koviaji Electra area, and we are about to push our initiative out there. And the last time we were there, the minister of the Volta regional minister was there to help us launch the library. Now we want to take all the projects that we have in Accra, we want to take it to the Volta region so that we can also.
And that report was just you listening to the winner of the 2025 Joy News Impact Makers Award. But in studio with me is Bennett Asante Nkrumah, who runs a tuition-free school and charity home in Susuanso, Ahafo region, by employing local staff and promoting a culture of learning and care. And he joins me in studio. We're having that conversation before we went on that break. So, Mr. Nkrumah, you tell me you have over 100 children under your care, 137. Where did that idea come from? Did you start with 100 children, or how did you start? I mean, with this your endeavor?
I started with the 11 children in 2017, September, because I found out that during that time, there was no school feeding in my community. That is Susanso. So during school hours, you will find some of the children that has reached school-going age, they will be
loitering around.
So I thought to myself, I cannot be giving money to them every day to go to school. And even if I am able to even give them the money, if the child goes or it doesn't go, I will not be able to know.
Right.
And if the child needs something else, that one too, I will not be able to know. So fortunately for me, one Mr. Douglas Kwachi, he works with Nimot. He gave me his own completed building. And then I started with the school with the 11 children. And out of the 11 children, 4 of them, their parents were mentally challenged. So they were staying with me. So we grew, and like I said, now we have one.
How old were they when you took them in? Were they very young?
Yes, 3 years, 2 years, 4 years.
Right. And this was which year?
2017.
Okay. So now how old are they?
13.
Okay. And they are teenage age
yes,
now.
Yes. 8, 7. Because as and when we are progressing, we're getting new entries. And the category of the children in the school, some of them are orphans where both parents are dead.
Are dead.
Those that their parents are mentally challenged. And then I have some 16, 17-year-old girl that has given birth. Okay. And the child is 3 years. The mother needs help, not to talk about the child.
The child.
So I keep telling myself that as for the mother there, I don't care what she or... But for the child is innocent. that needs an attention. And then we have some of the children too that were staying in a very remote villages that walks about. Below 5 years, the child cannot go to school.
Right.
So we brought all of them
together.
And then we're giving them the education.
How are you taking care of them?
I've been doing that with the few staff that I have.
Okay.
Like now we have from nursery up to class 4.
Are you working to take care of them, or you're seeking support, or what really were you doing to take care of them?
I was a journalist before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but after 2019, I had to.
It became a full-time job for you,
yes,
so you had to put
in
down
my
the pen.
when I come in and I look at how the situation is, I don't get it well. So I decided to go into it as a full-time. So that is all I do.
All right.
That is all I do from morning to evening to afternoon. And in the school, nobody pays anything from 2017 up to today. No school fees, free exercise book, from uniform to everything in the school is free. And when we close at 4, some of them are from they are day students. And then I have those that stays with me, and I stay with 65 of them.
Wow.
65 of them, I sleep with them, I do everything with them, whatever they will do, from uniform to clothes to paste to cream, everything. I am in charge.
God bless you.
Amen.
For what you're doing. And I hope that benevolent individuals and organizations will, try and help. And congratulations for making it to the Journeys Impact Makers Award. Thank you for coming. And that's the story of Bernard Nkrumah, who runs a tuition-free school and charity home in Suswanso in the Ahafo region. And, these ordinary individuals doing extraordinary endeavors or adventures, we pray that they get the needed support. Thank you so much. And that's been our desk this morning. We're grateful for your company. There's more news on myjoyonline.com. I am Amisi Yamiche Thompson.